Hi there, this is Solitary Ronan from Solitary Ronan Films, and welcome to another random review. Today's random review is all the way back to 1947 and Ride the Pink Horse, directed by Robert Montgomery. This is the Criterion Region A Blu-ray. It's spine number 750, and it does have beautiful artwork. And it has a booklet as well. It's a 2K digital restoration. There's a commentary with Elaine Silver and James Usimi. And there's a new interview with Imogen Sarah Smith, author of In Lonely Places, film noir Beyond the City. And there's also the radio adaptation, which stars Robert Montgomery, Wanda Hendricks, and Thomas Gomez, and there's an essay in the booklet. Obviously Robert Montgomery is more famous as being an actor, and Here Comes Mr. Jordan amongst other things, but he did actually direct a few films. The film was based on a novel by Dorothy Hughes, and her most famous film from one of her novels is probably Nicholas Ray's In a Lonely Place, but she also wrote Fallen Sparrow, which is filmed with John Garfield, I believe. The script for Ride the Pink Horse was written by Hecht and Lederer, who obviously did a lot of work with Howard Hughes and wrote a lot of classic Hollywood scripts. So it's got a bit of pedigree. It was also shot by Russell Metty, who shot Touch of Evil and Bringing Up Baby, and The Stranger, also by Orson Welles, and countless other things. He did The Mega Man as well, I believe, and Spartacus. So this film has a lot of pedigree in it, and it kind of shows. It's not a noir in the sense of urban. This is a non-urban noir. This is a noir set in Mexico, so you can't help thinking a bit about Touch of Evil, because you generally think about Touch of Evil anyway, just in everyday life. You always have Touch of Evil in your mind. Ride the Pink Horse, I don't know whether that's a euphemism for something. I can't come into work today because I've been riding the pink horse. But it does reference a merry-go-round and a pink horse on the merry-go-round. You can leave a comment if it means something else. As far as I'm aware, it just refers to the merry-go-round ride. Robert Montgomery usually plays kind of likeable characters, but he does play a bit of a git in this film. He's a noir regular, kind of disillusioned war veteran who turns up in this Mexican town of San Pablo, gets off the bus, acts very suspiciously, takes a gun out of his briefcase, out of his suitcase, and puts it in his pocket. He takes out a cheque, puts it in a safe deposit box in the bus station, and attaches the key with chewing gum to the back of a sign, which is, I would say, is a bit suspicious. And then he asks around for a hotel, and this young woman, played by Wanda Hendricks, who was born in Florida, but she's playing a Mexican, a Mexican Indian, I think, takes him to the hotel. She gives him a good luck token, which he's not very impressed by. He wants nothing to do with anybody, basically. He goes to this hotel room and he's looking for this man who goes by the name of Mr. Hugo, because he has this check for $100,000, and he wants $15,000 to give it back to Mr. Hugo. His friend Shorty was killed because of the check, so he's trying to avoid the same thing, but he wants to blackmail this guy. He meets this mysterious character who's obviously working for the federal government, who also wants a piece of Mr. Hugo. There's an interesting line about, flag waving, which is kind of interesting because this is 1947 and this predates Pick Up in South Street with the famous speech about "Don't wave your flag at me" by Richard Widmark. So that's an interesting little line. The script is full of just wonderful Hecht and Lederer lines. So this young woman that showed him the hotel, she becomes follows him about, which he doesn't want really anything to do with. He gets drunk one night and befriends a character called Pancho, played by Thomas Gomez, who again is not Mexican, but he's playing a Mexican. He was in Force of Evil with John Garfield, and there's lots of people in this, you'll recognise their faces. And Thomas Gomez owns the mery-go-round, that's how he makes a living. And the line from the title is when Robert Montgomery's character gets the young woman to ride the pink horse, so to speak. And again, I'm not going to go any further with the plot. It's blackmail by this, or by Mr. Hugo, but obviously he has no intention of paying it. So he pretty much would rather just kill Robert Montgomery the same way he killed Shorty. R.I.P. Shorty. The film is absolutely beautiful, shot by Russell Metty, as I said. It has that weird kind of feel because, for Americans, Mexico is this place you run to get away from your problems. There is a fiesta going on where they burn this effigy of the god of bad luck. So you have this whole fate and bad luck motif, which obviously runs through a lot of film noir and fatalism, but it doesn't necessarily end the way you think it will, or end the way most noirs end. It has a few surprises up its sleeve. It has a real sense of community as far as the locals are concerned. And again, it's the kind of crass American who doesn't want anything to do with the locals, but ends up needing the locals. Montgomery starts off as your archetypal film noir hero or anti-hero. He doesn't like anybody, he's got the suit and the hat and the gun, but by the end, or near the end of the film, he actually needs help from the people. There's a beautifully, I don't know whether it was in the script or whether it's Montgomery, but there's a wonderful sequence on the merry-go-round, just the way it's shot, where two heavies are beating up Pancho to get information out of him, and Montgomery's put the camera on the merry-go-round, So you just see the reaction of the kids as they're watching Pancho getting beat up, and we see it in the corner of the screen, these two guys wailing on Pancho, but again we just see it as the camera goes round. It's a beautifully mounted sequence, and again I don't know whether that's in the script or that's just pure Robert Montgomery, but it's a wonderful sequence and one of the best sequences you'll see in any noir. It's really well handled. Fred Clark plays the villain, and again you probably won't recognise the name, but you'll recognise the face. He was actually in Alias Nick Beale, the Ray Milland film that I did a random review of a wee while ago, where he played a sleazy businessman, a corrupt businessman, and strangely enough he plays a sleazy gangster here pretty much, who has a hearing aid and is deaf, which again works quite well for his character. So overall it's a really good non-urban noir. At times almost feels like a western. The Criterion release is really good. It's got really nice artwork. It's one of the best kind of artworks for Criterion, I think. And it also has a crazy title, Ride the Pink Horse. Again, answers on a postcard if that's a euphemism for something else. But to see a different side of Robert Montgomery, and again he directed it as well. Like I said, I think he directed 5 films, which again was a bit of a surprise to me. It's similar to going back a couple of years ago when I realised Ray Milland actually directed some films. You know, Kino has A Man Alone, which is a really good western, and also the End of the World film that he did, which I did a random review, Panic in Year Zero, which again is well worth checking out. Again, I did a double take on that a while ago as well. But yeah, sorry for the waffling. Ride the Pink Horse, I'm just going to keep saying the title. Well worth checking out if you're a fan of noir, or just to see a different side of Robert Montgomery. Really, really good film from Criterion, again, one I hadn't really heard of before, but well worth checking out. Again, it's a Region A Blu-ray, so if you're single region and that region is not A, you need to get that multi-region Blu-ray player if you didn't get one from Santa. So thanks very much for watching this random review of Ride the Pink Horse, and hopefully you'll join me again for more random reviews if I don't get caught up riding the pink horse. Riding the white horse is a completely different story. So thanks very much for watching. This is Solitary Ronin from Solitary Ronin Films, saying cheerio.